Hello everyone, welcome back to our discussion on the evidences of evolution. Of the five different evidences of evolution, we have completed evidences from paleontology, evidences from comparative morphology, and evidences from embryology. And now we are at the evidences from comparative physiology and biochemistry. So this particular evidence regarding the evolution or the evidences of evolution, this points to the fact that all the organism is having, or the basic plan or the basic chemical structure or the basic chemical nature of every organism is the same, and this points to the fact that all living organisms are derived from a common ancestor. So coming to the different similarities or homologies in biochemistry and physiology shown by all living organisms are mainly the chemical composition of all living organisms are the same, and if you observe the basic elements which make up the chemical molecules of life, like the carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen and oxygen, is the same in all living organism. And the fundamental genetic the genetic the fundamental genetic makeup or the genetic material of all organism consists of the nucleic acids and protein which make up the chromosome. The fundamental similarity is also shown in the limiting membrane in every cell, from the single cell organism to the highest multicellular organism. The limiting membrane of every cell is the plasma membrane or the lipid bilayer. That indicates a chemical homology of all organisms. Coming to the transfer of information inside the cell, or the transfer of genetic information inside the cell, which is usually referred to as a central dogma, the transfer of messages from the DNA to mRNA and then to a protein, which is called as a central dogma, is same in all organism. Coming to the different enzymes like amylase, trypsin, and some of the hormones, they are having similar structure and also similarity in their physiological function in different animals. And all these points to the fact that all the organism or all the living organisms, or they are derived from, or they are evolved from a common ancestor which had all these common features. Next is the evidences from taxonomy. So taxonomy is basically taxonomy or systematics is the classification of organisms. So the way by which biological classification of organisms is done is based on the natural interrelationship between different animal groups, and members are classified into different groups like phyla, class, etc., and this is based upon certain common feature, and organisms are placed in different phyla or different class, etc., based on their differences. And this similarities which is exhibited by organisms in a particular phyla points to a common ancestor. That means the organisms which belong to different animals in a common phyla, or the animals in a related phyla, they have a common ancestor, because the animals belonging to the same phyla has many common features, and animals which are in adjacent phyla, for example say annelids and arthropods, or arthropods and echinoderms, so they are having, or arthropods and mollusks, they are having many features in common, and there are differences. It is because of the differences they are placed in different phyla, and they are having many common features that point to a common ancestry for these organisms. The same can be seen with the classification of chordates. So every chordates, or the organisms belonging to different classes in the phylum Chordata, all the organisms are having the three common chordate features, which is the dorsal nerve cord, which will be transformed into the vertebral column, the dorsal tubular nerve cord, then the notochord, which is being transferred, which is being modified into the vertebral column and the pharyngeal gill slits. All the three structures or all the three features are common to all the chordate groups, which points to a common ancestor for all the chordates. So all these point to the fact, or all these point to an indication of a common ancestry for these groups. And the same has been proved by the DNA sequence results or DNA sequencing. DNA sequencing also point to the phylogenetic relationship existing between animals which are having a common ancestor. So these are the different evidences by which the existence of evolution or existence of common ancestry is being proved. So with this, we are coming to the end of this particular session, which is the evidences evidences of evolution from different categories. Whereby we discussed about the evidences from paleontology, evidences from comparative morphology, evidences from taxonomy, evidences from biochemistry and phylogeny, and also evidences from embryology. So these all point to the fact of a common ancestor, and also the existence of the evolutionary evolution, where a single organism which was our coacervate or the microspheres, they evolved and they transformed gradually into a multicellular organism. So with this, we come to the end of this session, which is the evidences of evolution. Thanks for hearing.